What is going on, everyone? Welcome back into the Investing Bros live show. It's 3 p.m. We've got a great one lined up for you today. Crypto is pumping once again. Altcoins are running. Bitcoin is running. Everybody's portfolio is up today. But what we're going to be talking about in this video, aside from some of the news that's sparking this recent rally, what are the coins that have the best buy spots right now? What should you be using your hard-earned money to get into? We're going to do a lot of Q&A here. We're going to take a look at coins that you guys want to take a look at. So make sure in chat throughout the show, you're dropping some of your favorite coins, asking the question, is this a good buy spot now? And we'll go into the charts and we'll take a look at just what you can expect with all of these altcoins. If you guys are ready for this show, make sure to go ahead and smash that like button right now. Go ahead. Don't wait just because I always say it. Smash the like right now. Then after that, if you haven't done already, hit that subscribe button. And now we're going to roll an intro. Here we go, everybody. Welcome. I got my two good friends here. I got Smay, got T-Shroom. Boys, how we feeling today?
Oh, I'm doing just wonderful, Tim. I'm having a great time. I'm just so
Good.
happy, and
Good. Good to hear, Smay. Good to hear it's May. T-Shroom, how about you? How are we doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great and better than I deserve. Really feeling bad for all the Man City fans out there that saw their team get absolutely hammered, just totally demolished by Real Madrid. Let me know. What did you guys think of that game in the Big Champions League? It was an interesting one for sure.
That's, yeah. Not familiar with what's happening right now over there in Europe, but, sports ball. That's go team, go. Is
That's
what
right.
I say to every one of our football fans over in Europe. I'm having a good day, guys. I did have a tragic thing happen to me. These two gentlemen know exactly what it is. It's a travesty that I played golf today. And I played golf by myself. And some of you will know that when you play golf by yourself, you have no witnesses. So I'm not going to tell you guys what happened. I'll tell our VIP training group later what happened in the tragedy of my golfing day. But that's all the golf for right now. If you guys don't have a hobby you guys are using right now aside from crypto, I urge you, play golf with the bros. The bros are playing golf in the year 2025. We're going to get good this year, one way or another. Come play with us, and let's get good at golf. Let's get into the crypto news, though. Let's get away from sports ball, one of our favorite topics. Let's talk news. We got the 1 minute rundown with T-Shroom. T-Shroom, what's happening in the news today?
All right. Kash Patel has been confirmed as the FBI director. The SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, just greenlit figures YLDS, first yield-bearing stablecoin pegged to USD, offering 0.5 annual yield. Truly is wild times for crypto. SEC, not done yet, acknowledges 21 shares Ethereum staking proposal, signaling Trump's crypto-friendly shift. The proposal's 240-day review period may set a precedent for integrating staking into the U.S. financial products. We'll get more into that one a little bit later on. Michael Saylor delivers a 25-minute speech at CPAC, the largest annual gathering for conservatives in the United States of America, as well as the SEC launches a cyber unit to combat cryptocurrency fraud. We'll get into more of the details there. That's a pretty big development. And then finally, Tim, I've actually got it pulled up over here. You asked, how would you spend your $5,000 from DOGE? And of course, the best answer was the Broz custom indicator pack. But Matt C had a pretty good answer here too. And that's just an awesome gif of ice cream. Let me know in the chat, what would you guys want to spend your $5,000 from DOGE on? And only Americans can answer. Just kidding. Anybody can answer. What would you do with 5,000? Tim, that's our news for today.
There we go. Before we get into the details of the show, I want to give a special shout out to our sponsor of today's episode, and that is Decrypted.tax. You can share my screen on this one, Smay. I got their website up. If you guys have not handled your taxes yet, and it's February, I know some of you have, some of you haven't, I cannot recommend a better tax lawyer, tax professional, then Ernest over at Decrypted.tax. Cannot wait for him to come back on our show in the next couple of weeks. But right now, when you use the Broz link, you can get 25% off. When you tell him that you are sent from the Broz, you get 25% off. Schedule your free 60-minute consultation right now with him. But in case you're wondering, why should I use Ernest? Why should I use Decrypted.tax? Shouldn't I just do my taxes myself? Shouldn't I just use somebody else? Well, listen, if you have a great CPA already, go ahead and go with it. I'll tell you this, though. My personal story of using Ernest last year, I've told some of you this. I thought I was going to owe somewhere in the of $3,000 to $5,000. When I did my own estimations on what I owed in taxes at the end of the year, I thought $3,000 to $5,000. I got a return. I got a return of almost $1,000 because Ernest had his best men on it. I don't know what kind of magic they do over there. It's all legal. He's a tax attorney, so it's not like I'm going to come back and have a problem with the IRS, even though they're not going to have any problems here for the future because they're getting laid off. But if you guys are wanting a return and you want to pay as little money to the government as possible, but stay legal, not a single person out there better than Ernest and Decrypted.tax. Check them out. Link down below. Schedule your call today. Let's check in on what the markets are doing here, going with our crypto bubbles. And this is actually, this is a big deal. I saw someone say earlier, we're up 4%. That's a pump. I hear what you're saying. Listen, I understand some people saying, listen, yes, are we green on the day? We're green, but it's not that bullish, is it? Well, here's what you need to know. Yesterday was bullish. Today is bullish. We have not had a whole lot of back-to-back bullish days for the last couple of weeks. So that's a big thing in and of itself. I'm going to show you on the charts a couple of coins that I really like what the charts look like. We're breaking some major resistance. Those buy signals we talked about last week look like they're starting to actually bear fruit. We're going to talk about a lot of coins, where they can get to, which ones are good buys, which ones I'm a little hesitant on still. I want to see the chart develop a little more. But big gainers over here. IP jumping in the top 100 here. It's jumped 21 spots, number 82. That means it was not in the top 100 yesterday. It's a 46% story is what it's called. I don't know anything about it. If you guys know anything about story, let me know in the comments down below. But some ones we do know about. S is up again big. Previously Phantom. Someone corrected me in chat the other day. Sonic is previously Phantom. So anyone wondering where'd Phantom go or what is Sonic? It is Phantom over there. It's up 16, almost 17%. Barra is up. Pith is up. Maker, Say, a lot of stuff is up here today. Very few coins in the red. So very bullish day. And yes, crypto is pumping. Did it pump by 50%? No. Not even IP pumped 50%, but it's pumping for 2 days in a row. And that is something to be rejoicing on. Let's take a look here. This is what I'm talking about, though. Take a look at, for the last couple of weeks, it's very rare that we are sustaining this long period of time of a 4 hour on the 4 hour chart of positive candles, right? We now, even though there's a couple of blue ones in here, we have been going in the right direction. That's to the upside for 13 4-hour candles. You'd have to go back a ways to find a trend of 13 bullish candles in a row. You probably could look right here back to the end of January. January 26th or so, all the way till January 30th, we were bullish until we had a reversal. But that was the last major bullish time period. Everything else has been sustained downward movements. So very good sign for crypto. Also, you'll see here, we have been tracking, we have been watching this pattern, this red line here, a former resistance level turned to support, and a new red line that is a former, or it is an established resistance level. Well, guess what? Well, we've tested this line several times, even flirting back here at the end of January with breaking through. We have rejected on this zone so many times, but today we said enough. We have broken through. It's going to be very important that we get back above 99,000, get higher than our previous lower high set back on February 14th. Some of you know I'm a big proponent of I want to get up the February 3rd high. Again, that was the high after the colossal collapse where everyone freaked out. The greatest, I think it was like 24-hour loss in the history of Bitcoin. Never in the history of anything that's happened. FTX, COVID, Celsius, Elon Musk. Never has there been a more brutal 24 hours than what we had on February 2nd. Well, on February 3rd, we rebounded, jumped all the way up to 102,400. I want to get back above that, right? We've been moving down since. That would be a major win for Bitcoin bulls if we're looking to set new all-time highs anytime soon. So we still got to do here on Bitcoin, but it's a great start with breaking this resistance. We're now closing several 4-hour candles, both opening and closing above that line. I would love to see this daily candle close, and I think, we have a couple more hours left, like 4 hours left until this candle closes. I think there's a very good chance, unless we have a colossal breakdown, we'd have to fall back down below 97,000, push back towards 96,000 to close back below this red line. But what's going to be bigger, can we close out tomorrow, the last day of the American markets being open? Can we into the weekend above opening and closing above this ascending red line? That is something for sure. We haven't closed a single daily candle, let alone open and close daily candle above this red line yet. Let's see that happen, and we'll have some very, very positive signs. I'm going to be quick here. Today's show's going to be a little different. A lot of technical analysis, so I want to get out of Bitcoin. I want to get into the news, and then we're going to come back into altcoins and talk about the different charts that I love, why I love them, what targets I'm looking at, and then we'll even do some Q&A, look at some of your guys' favorite coins, and analyze, is the chart a bullish chart? Is there a big breakout coming? How good of a buy is it right now? But let's go back to Bitcoin here, and let's turn on Lux Algo. You guys know we've been tracking this. It's going to be the same thing for all the altcoins, but look at what is happening the first time since way back here on February 1st. Again, right before the big crash happened, the RSI is heading back above the 50. That's a very positive sign. MACD is about to get a bullish cross for the first time since all the way back on January 14th. That's a very bullish. In fact, guys, today is a bullish cross. Not waiting on one. It has happened. That's a very positive sign right there. And then you come over to the Lux Algo oscillators. We had our green reversal way back here on February 5th. We have this bullish momentum. We have bullish divergence, even though it's not showing us a line. We put in a lower low and yet a higher low on the oscillator. We have the green momentum and the positive money flow. It is forming for us a buy signal. My favorite buy signal that Lux Algo has. Where's the target in the short term? My short-term target is going to be up here at 101, high end 1024. Remember, back to that all-time high, not all-time high, excuse me, the high after the big drop. If we can break through that, though, if we do conquer 1025, all of a sudden, I'm putting my eyes back up to this blue zone up towards 108, 109, flirting back to previous all-time highs. The only problem is I think we still have some work to do from the news before we break it, but I would love to see from a good long-term trade for the next couple of days, weeks. I think you still have the potential to make a big breakout here on Bitcoin and head up back towards 108. So Bitcoin right now, I'm going to give a very good buying spot. I wouldn't say Bitcoin's the best buy. Again, I feel pretty confident about Bitcoin making a move up here at least to 101. We're talking about another 2.8%, but I think the potential here for another move, like a 10% move to the upside, you throw a little bit of leverage on there, maybe a 10x, around about 100% move on Bitcoin. I like what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. I think we are going to see some new highs coming sooner than a lot of people want to say, and you got to start somewhere, right? The bottom's got to come in somewhere. You got to start the rally. I think we are seeing the confirmation. February 2nd was a big drop back. It was a big dip. It's time to start looking back up here to the higher, back above 1,000, start looking back towards 109 for Bitcoin. Like I said, stick around. We're going to talk altcoins here in just a couple of minutes. But with that said, if you guys are excited about what you're seeing on the charts, if you've bought the dip and you're ready to make a lot of money in crypto, go ahead and smash that like button right now. I'm going to throw it over to T. Shroom to get into the news for the day. T. Shroom, let's break it all down. What do you got for us today?
Yeah, absolutely. I think probably the biggest story to really sink our teeth into is actually the story here with Ethereum. So the SEC acknowledging 21 shares Ethereum staking protocol, signaling Trump's crypto-friendly shift. The proposal's 240-day review period may set a precedent for integrating staking into U.S. financial products, think ETFs, amid growing demand for yield-generating crypto assets like Ethereum. Now, there's a couple of reasons why this headline really moves the football forward on the field, and it's because yield is something that's really, really big in the stock market world. It's also big in crypto as well, with DeFi, of course. But it really does beg the question: could this really be the big unlock for Ethereum? Is this potentially why there hasn't been a huge inflow into the Ethereum ETFs like there has been into Bitcoin? It's not as popular as Bitcoin. It probably never will be, but it does come with a yield kind of built in to the system, as many folks know, with Ethereum. whereas Bitcoin doesn't have that as much. And so, Tim, I would ask you this: Do you believe that with this unlock and a new kind of open-minded Hester Pierce-led SEC, that this staking aspect to the new ETFs for Ethereum, do you think that could be really explosive for the underlying asset Ethereum's price, that ETH? And just how far do you think this could send Ethereum?
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know how far it's going to send, but the simple answer is this is bullish. Just think about it. Further incentive to lock up and stake your Ethereum. That means you put it to a position where you cannot touch it very easily. Staked Ethereum is very bullish. Very simple. I wish I had more extravagant words to use, right? But the simplicity is this is good regulation for Ethereum. This encourages people to stake more Ethereum. It locks more of it up. When the supply decreases and the demand goes up, price goes up as well. That's what we see playing out here for Ethereum. And what I'll say is, as you move into other altcoins here, while we don't have clear instruction yet, this is another very big step in the right direction of what regulation will look like for cryptocurrencies, and that we now have regulators who are not going to stifle or fight crypto users. They're going to help them. We don't have clarity yet, so the institutions aren't ready to invest their trillions of dollars. We've talked for a long time now about the next big catalyst for what will pump altcoins. More than likely will be more clarity on regulation. This is another step in the right direction for that.
Yeah, this one's I completely agree. I completely agree. And it also kind of puts Vanguard. You may not know what this company is, but Vanguard is kind of in there with State Street and BlackRock, and together they own something like 60% of the S&P. It's of course not that simple, but Vanguard, a very, very big player in Wall Street, they were hesitant to get their clients into the Bitcoin ETFs because they said, hey, it doesn't throw off a yield. And that's one of the pillars of the Vanguard way. And so we're not going to pick up any Bitcoin or Bitcoin ETFs for our clients. Well, will they be able to say the same about these Ethereum ETFs once they have actual yield-bearing components to them? Obviously, they won't. They won't have anything to say. They won't be able to use the same argument. At least they'll have to spin up something else. But Tim, I want to go over to. There was a question asked today, and this is from Autism Capital. This is a serious account, even though it's a little bit of a funny thing here. But okay, this is what's important here. The reporter asked Stephen Miller on the Trump team. He said, "We heard that these DOGE dividends checks. You say 20% goes to taxpayers, 20% goes to debt. Where does the other 60% go?" Miller said it will be cycled into next year's budget and ultimately pay for next year. So, the interesting part is he did not deny that $5,000 would be going out in the form of the DOGE dividend checks. Now, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. There was some controversy, some people saying, oh, that's just going to add to inflation, things like that. But Tim, one thing we didn't really talk about yesterday is how significant if these checks could be for altcoins and for Bitcoin and for risk assets across the board, everything from Tesla to Dogecoin, right? If $5,000 went into the hands of every tax-paying American, that would be, first of all, that's much more than the COVID stimulus checks were, and that would just be huge. That would be almost a guaranteed much higher altcoin season than we would have thought before. So this will be absolutely something that we're tracking here. Because look, the first time I saw it, and I'd love to hear your opinion as well, Tim, and kind of what percentage chance you think these 5K checks actually get sent out and cross people's desks. The first time I saw the 5,000, I thought it was a joke. I thought, oh, this is silly. This couldn't happen. But the momentum that I'm seeing, the trajectory of this story is that it actually might. Now you're seeing Stephen Miller not deny that reporter's question. So am I overinterpreting potentially this headline here, or what do you think?
No, I think obviously that was my first question when I saw it as well. Like, what's the other 60% going towards? Here's what I'll say. Well, we don't know for certain what that is. I would say as long as whatever it goes towards, we know about it and the government is transparent with us. I'm not necessarily fully against the concept of a government having spending. I would love to see income tax be taken away completely, but I understand there's other ways we got to pay taxes to do different things. I think like most Americans, the issue isn't the problem is taxes. The problem is not having any clue as to where those taxes are going. Now we're seeing evidence that taxes for years have been being used in a very corrupt manner. Let's just start a new thing where we have full transparency. What are taxes going towards? How much do we actually need? Let's pay off the debt. I'd be okay if he said, hey, we're going to turn 20% back to the people and we're going to take the full 80% and move it towards paying off debt so that our children and our children's children aren't just piled in debt, even more so than we are right now. But I think this is a bullish thing. You're absolutely right. Obviously, not every single person who is a taxpayer in America is going to go buy crypto. But I would say even if only 5% of the people in America went and invested in the markets, crypto, the stock market in general, that would be a massive boom for the economy, for crypto. People in other countries would respond bullishly because of it. So I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of this plan. And as far as the 60%, just tell us what it's doing. I don't, as long as we know what's happening with it and we can give you our feedback on it, I'm good with what they decide to do with that 60%.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a big day for crypto. It's a big time. There's so much bullish momentum picking up. If these 5K checks go out, that is going to be absolutely insane across the board for risk assets. That would be something that the markets were not pricing in at all, right? So that would be a huge movement to the upside as risk assets are repriced. Tim, we've got another kind of a little bit esoteric. This can be a little bit of inside baseball. So stick with me here, bros. The SEC's just greenlit Figures, a company, YLDS, the first yield-bearing stablecoin pegged to the dollar, offering 0.5 annual yield. This is pretty interesting. So it's not an ETF, it's a stable coin. And I don't think that USDC has been greenlit or approved by the SEC. It kind of begs the question, will it need to be? Will the USDT Tether's stablecoin need to be greenlit? Or if they're not promising a yield, does there not necessarily need to be that? This one's pretty crazy, Tim. I don't necessarily expect you to have too big of explosive of a reaction to this one.
No, my reaction is 0.5%. That's nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing, but it isn't zero, right? So it's kind of from a finance world, it's negligible. Right? It's an immaterial, not material. It's not competitive.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Bonds.
As much as we don't love banks, can't go down and open up different levels of savings accounts and get a higher return on my investment than that?
Exactly. I think the thought here, Tim, is that it's an alternative to holding cash. So you can't get any yield on cash, right? So this would be 0.5 more yield on cash.
I'll be honest with you. To me, this is a nothing burger. I don't think this is that special whatsoever. Get those numbers into the big boy levels, and we'll have a field day here. To me, I think you can yield on Coinbase with USDC and get a better return than this. So there's already a stable coin option to get a better return. This is not special whatsoever.
I disagree. I think this is one of the first times we've disagreed in 2025. We had a couple of bets last year, some things around Gary Gensler and ETF passages. This is the first time. I think this is a pretty big deal. I mean, the headline is that it's getting passed by the SEC. You're kind of drilling in and saying, well, hold on a second. 0.5 ain't nothing to sneeze at. Why are we getting upset? It's not zero. That's the point, is that yields are coming off zero for holding cash without a counterparty like Coinbase. You're just going to hold this stable coin on a blockchain, presumably a decentralized blockchain, although I don't know if it is or not, what Figures got going on. And just for holding the coin, it's going to bake in a 0.5 yield. I'm not exactly sure how that would even work. I guess they would just drop rewards directly into your wallet through airdrop. But I think that is big, and I think it's pretty big that the SEC is already passing it before I even really have heard about it before this headline. So,
all right. Well, Crux, if you're in chat right now, use the Broz account, create a poll. Don't call it Team Tim or Team T-Shroom, because some people not joining, like watching late, might not know what that means. I don't think this is going to go well for you, Shroom, on our disagreement here, but we'll let the community decide.
Well, what's the poll going to be? What's the wording?
0.5%. Is 0.5% a big deal? What's the poll? What word?
The poll is this a big step forward for crypto?
Okay. Is 0.5% yield a big step forward for crypto? Should be the words on this poll here, Crux. Let's find out what people think.
It's a rigged poll.
Let's go to the next one. What's the next story?
All right. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much bringing up the rear. I don't know that we need to get into Cash Patel. That's really not many crypto implications there, other than
Okay.
if you're into crypto fraud, you better, your days are numbered, because it's not just, a new manager over there at the FBI. It's also the SEC is much more competent, and they're less focused on destroying a domestic industry of crypto, and they're going to be much more concerned with trying to root out the criminals. So yeah, but Tim, that's the I think we've really kind of digested the news of the day here. We haven't really heard any updates from the Fed. Didn't get any data prints this morning, as far as I know. It's really just kind of Ethereum getting two big
Yeah.
thumbs up. So that's good. Will it be able to capitalize on that? Will it be able to build some momentum? That's really the question the market's waiting to see.
Well, I'll tell you this, and for sure, I don't think you mentioned this. If you did, I deeply apologize. Obviously, the big news causing the pump here today. Yesterday, Donald Trump speaking. I can't remember what the conference was, what it was, but he reiterated that America is going to be the world leader in both AI and cryptocurrency. Kind of flirting with that concept once again that we're going to get a Bitcoin strategic reserve. He mentioned Bitcoin by name in the conference. So if anyone's wondering what is one of the big catalysts for today's bigger move, Donald Trump once again reminding people he has not forgotten about crypto. It is still part of his plan as a president. Has it been the number one thing he's worried about? No, because he's had to worry about our national debt being extremely, extremely high. He's had to worry about historic levels of illegal immigrants who have flooded in the country over the last 4 years and how we handle them. He's dealing with ridiculous inflation numbers. He's also dealing with two major wars happening and trying to bring peace. So as much as I love crypto, you love crypto, and long-term crypto is going to solve a lot of our problems, I understand why crypto was not at the top of his list of things he had to tackle once he got in office. But now that we are seeing things move, it's time to get into the main portion of the show. We got a lot of time left to engage with you guys. Real quick, let's check on this poll. I am super surprised right now. Shroom is leading. I don't know what people maybe step forward in crypto is a little too big. 53% of you say that T-Shroom is right, that a 0.5% yield on stablecoins is a step forward in crypto. Okay. All right,
It's
listen.
huge, Tim. It's unprecedented.
When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It seems like our community thinks it's a pretty big deal. I mean, it's 50. Listen, even if it was 50, let's say I was up 51, 50, 49, I would still think this is crazy. I'm very surprised. But you know what? The people have spoken, and they think that what you said is right, T-Shroom. So get your flowers. You win this one. You win this round. Let's get
I
into a
receive
round
it.
one gets to win, and that is taking a look at altcoins and talking about how good of a buy they are at. Let's go ahead and take a look at
Let's do
some
it.
different things here, starting off with the queen of crypto, or the king of altcoins, Ethereum. In fact, before we look at Ethereum, let's go take a quick look over at Bitcoin Dominance. It is still above 61%, but you guys can see if we get some sort of a correction here, we are starting to trend back into lower highs and lower lows. We also, right now, depending on what time frame you are looking at, we had you don't trade the Bitcoin dominance, but we had a bear signal. We had bearish divergence. We had bearish reversal, bearish momentum, negative money flow. All of this has not yet hit the levels we're expecting, back down below 60%. If you go into lower time frames, like the 4-hour chart down here as well, you're also going to see the money flow is going back towards the downside. We had a sell signal earlier today, red reversal, bearish momentum, negative money flow. We have not hit the target there. That short-term one is back below 61%. So there are some signs on longer time frames. There's even, based off how the chart is looking, that is a very bearish looking candle out here on the weekly chart, a big, long upper wick. There's a sign that I think that the top of the Bitcoin dominance should be in, which should be a positive thing for altcoins. Now let's get back into it. Let's talk about what coins are doing, why I'm bullish on them, where I think things can go. Do I think that these coins are good buys right now? Let's start off Ethereum. Couple things I want to take a look at here before I even look at Luxalgo. I love what Ethereum's chart is at. First of all, it is down. I mean, anything that's down significantly, especially these larger coins, it's going to get a good vote. Ethereum dropped a total of 47% from its cycle highs, okay, down this wick on February 2nd, but it's still down over 30%. It's still down 32% from the cycle highs. That gets a camp of positivity, right? Some coins being down far, and you're going to see this. Some coins I don't like that they're down. If they don't have a lot of things going in their momentum, then I won't like how far they're down. But for Ethereum, I think we're seeing some tea leaves showing that big people are still buying Ethereum. Whales and institutions are still very interested in Ethereum. So to me, when I see this large gap from the previous high, it makes it a very juicy buy. But then you pair it with things like we came back to a very long-term trending level of support. You see this blue line right here. This has been the fall of the rising level of support since the bear market lows back in 2022, with the exception of February 2nd's wick. We have not closed this. We have not gone below this line. We definitely have never closed a candle in the daily chart below it. So being very close to that line is a positive sign. Let's do one more thing here. Let's just take a look really quickly at the moves that Ethereum's made in the coming weeks after touching this blue line. If you go back to the first time it was touched, of course, back in 2022, Ethereum would explode 129% over the next couple of weeks. If you went over and looked at the next time it was touched in November of 2022, put in a higher low for the first time in Ethereum for a while. Over the next couple of weeks, it would explode 99%. You go the next time it was touched, back here to October 23rd. We started off a very bullish trend. Now, this one took months. It went into March, but March saw a rally of 169%. Then you come over here, we rode this line the fall of last year, but once we decided to take off and go to the upside, Ethereum saw a nice return in the next couple of weeks of 71%. So even if we go to the low end of that, we've touched it here once again. If it only did a 70% run, again, we've seen 160, 120, we've seen 99. Let's just say 70%, a 70% move would set us back up to new highs at 4,600. Realistically, though, I think this is another big move. I think it's well over 100. I think we're going to start making moves towards that $7,000 target over the next couple of months. But very, very good move, Ethereum. Again, every time so far we've touched this line, we've had big moves. But the other reason I'm bullish right now we go into Luxago. I told you about this last week. I told you be patient. Right? If you guys were watching the show, I told you there was buy signals on several altcoins, but don't be surprised if we don't get any momentum for at least a week or two. Well, we're starting to see a little bit of momentum now, but we had that green reversal, we have the green momentum, and we have the positive money flow. This money flow that's red is ticking back to the upside. What does this mean? It means once we get moving here, we at the very least should be making our way back up towards 3,000. We could start making a move towards 3,100, but if we break this red support, or red smart trail from Luxago, look at the last couple times after touching this blue line, we have smashed through that and continue to go to the upside. At the very least, you're starting to look back up here towards the red resistance level again, the red cloud, and we're looking at the camp somewhere 3,700 to 4,000 is what we're watching for Ethereum. That's a lot of momentum right here, right? So just the short-term trade, we're talking about a move of 10%. The longer-term trade, we're talking about a move up here around 46%. And then, like I said, I think getting another 100% move on Ethereum is very easy in the next couple of months. So Ethereum is going to get a big thumbs up right now. Great buy signal. Great level of what we're looking at right now. Let's take a look at some others here. Solana. Now, Solana didn't pull back. I'm going to try to speed up here because we have a lot of coins we want to get through. Solana didn't pull back as far necessarily as Ethereum, but especially in the last week, Solana took a big bleed because of the chaos when it comes to all the meme coin stuff. It actually did do a big spill. It didn't look as big, but 45% to the downside. We're still down 40% from cycle highs. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think those are all-time highs, right? They are, right? So we're down 40% from all-time high, cycle highs as well. That puts this in a very juicy spot. You can see here, we came back down, similar to Ethereum, a different support level. Former resistance level, we are now bouncing off this former resistance, now turned to support. I think this could have a very big move to the upside. Solana does not have quite the same buy signal that Ethereum does. It is seeing green reversal. It looks like we're in green momentum again, but that money flow is still flowing negative. Where I'm going to kind of look here is, do we have a buy signal coming in, let's say on the 12-hour chart, which yes, we do. Green reversal, bullish momentum, positive money flow here. Not only positive money flow, you guys see that bright red right there? This from the Luxago oscillator is what we call the excessive sellers. And when they are in, when that bright red is here, very, very strong suppression of price, hard pushing the downside. But when they leave, like they just did this last 12-hour candle, it can be a brand new awakening for explosion to the upside. So what's going to happen here, the 12-hour chart is under a buy signal. Well, if we look at that smart trail, we're looking at a low end of back towards $194, almost $200. But I promise you, we're not going to get back up there and not get that buy signal on the daily chart as well. Now we're looking back up in the world of 220 on the low end. On the high end, getting back up here to this red level, back up towards 270 into this red resistance cloud. Solana's got a big move to the upside there. Again, small term move, 26, 27%. Big move, we're looking at 70% move on Solana. Again, throw a couple X's on that leverage over on Blofin. You're looking at some big, big returns on Solana. So loving what I'm seeing right now. The one thing I will say, unlike Ethereum and Bitcoin, so Bitcoin clearly we're seeing some bullish momentum. We're breaking some resistance levels. Ethereum, it's not quite there yet, but you can see a definite over the last couple of days, we're starting to form back into bullish trend. Solana is overexposed right now, but we're not seeing bullishness yet, right? You're not really setting a bullish trajectory until you get over 200. So Solana's a little bit of a gamble here compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum, that you're seeing some really positive momentum already. This is almost like you're trying to bet the odds that Solana is going to turn it around, that the bullish momentum is coming back. But I'll say, as much as I like the Solana purchase, maybe it's not as strong as what I'm seeing on Bitcoin or Ethereum. That being said, I still like Solana. I don't need to buy any more Solana to my bag right now, but let's say my Solana bag was low. Maybe some of you guys out there have a low Solana bag. You asked him if you needed to buy more Solana to make your portfolio balanced, would you be buying Solana here? I would be. I would be taking a look there as well. Tony Roses, real quick before we move on, said, Tim, look at Sol over Bitcoin, please. Let's take a look at Sol over Bitcoin.
Yeah, Tim, pull that up. I actually want to show, I've got my Solana chart here. I've got the weekly candles pulled up, and look what Solana's about to do. I don't know if you already showed the weekly, but this candle's coming back, and it looks like it could close up above this downtrending line of what was resistance, now support. If it closes above 170 on my chart, that's going to signal to investors that this asset is here to stay, not here to play. You're welcome.
When you say here to stay, you mean to rally or mean to stay at that low level?
To stay above 170.
Okay.
That's a good clarification, Tim. I appreciate that. What's the Solana over Bitcoin chart look like?
Yeah, well, what he's looking at here, so we haven't been this low on Solana over Bitcoin since way back in December of 2023, right? So we're talking about over a year of lows here. I'm not necessarily thinking that's the end of the world necessarily. You still can see an overwhelming bullish trajectory here on Solana. In fact, Solana over Bitcoin is one of the better looking large cap coins over Bitcoin. If you look at XRP Bitcoin, no, that's not a terrible look right there. But you zoom out and you can see we're pretty significantly down from all-time highs. If you looked at Ethereum over Bitcoin, it's just not good whatsoever. We did not get that bounce. I think, you know what's crazy? I think Ben Cowan always talked about the 0.03 level. It went lower than even Ben Cowan thought that the Ethereum over Bitcoin chart would go. It came all the way down to 0.02. Long story short, the Ethereum over Bitcoin chart, not a pretty looking chart, right? Solana over Bitcoin, look, again, has it hit new all-time highs yet? No, but you're gonna be hard fought to find a coin with a better looking over Bitcoin chart than Solana right now. Is it lows that we haven't seen in a while? Yeah. But we also just saw Bitcoin Dominance hit a new all-time high only a couple of days ago. So not too worried about that. What's going to be a bigger factor here, let's take a look at the oscillators, kind of what they're saying to us. From a weekly perspective, negative momentum for sure. No sell signals necessarily. Nothing that says we have to go to the downside. We did here recently break this weekly trail. Let's go over the daily chart here and see what it is saying. I mean, we're very overextended for sure. It looks like the MACD wants to cross back to the upside. I definitely think we got some work to do here on Solana over Bitcoin. What you will see is we have a green reversal, but we have negative money flow and negative momentum happening. So not the greatest looking thing right here, but here's what I'll say. Solana over Bitcoin doesn't mean that if this chart goes down, the Solana goes down. It could just mean for the time being, Bitcoin's positive momentum is outweighing Solana's positive momentum. You still always want to keep an eye on the chart itself. This does kind of go to prove the point of what I was saying before looking at this chart. So thank you for bringing it to our attention here, Tony. Investing in Solana right now is kind of an educated gamble. What I mean, a lot of times when you're trading, right? If you're trading, you want to wait for confirmation. You want to trade with the trend, not against the trend. Trying to predict the end of a downtrend and when we're going up, it's not impossible, but it is very hard, right? You buy every dip you can, but if you're sitting here saying, I want to trade Solana, I want to go in a big, big long on Solana, you are gambling a little bit. You don't have that same positive building momentum we're seeing on the likes of Ethereum and the likes of Bitcoin itself. In fact, I think even we're kind of going off what I was wanting to do here, but let's spend some time here. The Ethereum over Bitcoin chart, for example, even though it's kind of a gnarly move, you got a pretty good looking bottom signal here. Look at the daily chart with this long, nasty lower wick, big volume. And now we're slowly but surely developing a little bit of momentum here. That is a sign. This is a sign that the bottom of the ETH over Bitcoin chart could, I'm not going to say it is for sure until you start seeing higher highs again, getting back above this 0.032. You can't know for certain, but this is a very positive sign. This is a bottom signal. Let's go back and look. We really haven't seen one like this. You kind of had one back in here that did show us some temporary relief back in August 2024. But this is one of the stronger bottom signals you've seen on any chart recently with that nasty lower wick right there. So even that one, the ETH over Bitcoin chart, in a zoomed in look, is a little bit better looking than the Sol over Bitcoin chart, which again, just here over the last couple of days, hit a new yearly low. So I want to make it clear, Solana, I think, is in a great spot to buy because of how low it is, but it hasn't shown the developed strength at the bottom for sure is in just yet. So make sure when you're buying it, you're aware of that. It's not the strongest buy signal at the moment. Let's kind of speed round this a little bit, though. Let's take a look at a couple others, ones that I like, and I want to take a look at coins that you guys want to look at as well. Shroom, if you see some good chat, slow me down, me, and we'll go. You're in chat right now. I'll take a quick breather.
I've got. You know who is coming in with a really good vibe? It's Richard Illingsworth. He said this show has a fantastic format and that he loves it. And then he also said,
Richard.
Yeah, we're gonna double up on Richard Illingsworth. He said, "You will know it will all be on chain." A bit of a nudge to the RWA, the tokenization narrative, I believe. Definitely a big narrative going on. But Tim, I've got we're looking at assets over other assets, not just the dollar denominated. This is one that Caleb Franzen, big fan of Caleb, friend of the show. He's been showing the Bitcoin over S&P 500 chart, and look at this baby is ready to rock. If you needed today a little bit of hopium, a little bit of reassurance that we haven't topped out, this thing is just in a classic breakout, retest, breakout pattern. And Broz, the good news is that you're catching it before the next big move higher. It is just such a good time to be in Bitcoin. Not the worst time to be in the S&P 500, but you're about to get left behind if all you're in is the SPY. So big shout out to Caleb Franzen. Don't know if he's watching, but he's been posting that chart nonstop.
Love me some Caleb Franzen. Always love me some Caleb Franzen. All right, let's get back into it. Altcoins. And I promise we're going to do some chat. So after this one, because there's more I want to do, but we're going to do at least one community suggested coin. But I got to look at my favorite. I got to look at my baby, Chainlink. You guys know I love Chainlink. Got to look at it. Let's go over here, Smay. Now, a couple things here. Bouncing off of two major levels of support. Long-term former resistance level, turn support in that green line, a red line, a more recent descending level of support. That's part of a much larger bullish formation called a bull flag. If you're wondering what a bull flag is, it's when you have a very explosive move followed by a consolidating channel. That's what this parallel red represent. We have this consolidating downward channel. This could signal a massive move on Chainlink to make its way up above $50. Nowhere close to where I think the top of the cycle gets, but a big move for Chainlink all the more. So sitting on that support level, you love to see it. It hit the Bitcoin take profit level here not too long ago. We have a daily buy signal. Again, Solana did not have this, but Chainlink has it. Bitcoin now has it. Green reversal, bullish momentum, positive money flow. I told you I told you last week, this didn't mean we were ready to go just yet. Look for that manipulated pullback. Sure enough, what happened? We actually pulled back to slightly lower lows than where we were when we got the buy signal. That is called bullish divergence, people. That's a very strong bullish move. The trajectory on the low end is back up to $22, $22 to $23. That would be a move right now for Link, currently sitting at 1831, somewhere in the world of 23, 25%. But if we start to make a bigger move to the upside, I told you already with the massive one, but the more conservative one would say, hey, now you're starting to look at, let's just say we break through this red line up here. Instead of just $50, take a look here. A more traditional round of just looking at the descending channel would send the price of Chainlink up to $36. That would be a whopping move right now. If this happens in the next couple of weeks, again, low end, 26%, down back here to $23. Medium, somewhere here on an 100% increase up towards $36. And then, of course, if we do hit 50 something, we're talking about a move 186% up here towards 52, the bull flag pattern. So Link, absolutely a coin that I'm loving right now to buy up in the dip. In fact, it is one that I bought some more of here over the last 2 days on those dips. So loving what I'm seeing right there. Let's take a break from mine. Again, I could look at a lot of them. I can look at Cardano and Ondo. They're sitting in a very good spot. Sui is on a run today. Love what Sui's doing. But let's open it up to chat. What do you guys want me to take a look at? T-Shroom, you won the poll. 63%. That baffles me. For that, you get to choose the next coin. What chat do you want to choose so that we can do the TA for it?
Let's take a look here. I'm seeing Cardano. I'm seeing SEI, that is. I'm seeing XRP. I'm seeing Sonic, which is previously Phantom, I believe. Rebrand. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? You tell me in the chat. I see Super. I see ETH. We already did ETH. Atom. AERO. Aerodrome. Tim, I'm just going to keep naming them. I'm not actually going to pick anything.
You got to choose one. Yeah. The assignment was to choose.
I did not understand the assignment. No, but I saw one that was pretty good. SEI. This is one actually I'm just seeing in the chat somebody said that World Liberty Fi bought it, and indeed that is true. World Liberty Fi did buy some bought $125,000 worth. So definitely not their biggest purchase, but that's not nothing.
Yeah, so Say is one of the newer layer ones. When did it come out? Let's do some light research on Say because I want to get my timeline here.
Say is kind of the sister coin to Sui. They kind of came out. Yeah, yes. They came out of the Facebook world when the Facebook got told that they cannot come out with a coin.
Yeah, it was developed back in the middle of 2023. Okay, so Say it's been around here. Something I don't love, and I've told you guys this before, I don't love charts that put in highs in March of 2024 and then put in lower highs in December of 2024. That means we've had two really big catalysts and rallies in the bull market so far. And I'm not saying that any coin that fits this bill can't make it. There's obviously excuses out there, and there's things that can happen to change it. But look at that massive momentum that happened in October 2023 to March of 2024. And then look, it still was bullish around the time that we got the catalyst, Trump's elected. We started rallying here. In fact, it did most of this damage before it. If you look at the momentum of Trump being elected, very small momentum right there, right? So Say didn't get the same boost that the Suis and the Ondos and the Bitcoins and the Cardanos and the XRPs got, which means, and I know you just said we read a headline that an institution did. What was the headline you just read about Say?
Yeah, you don't need to go to my screen, but it says Trump-backed World Liberty Fi bought 547,000 Say with which is about $125,000.
Yeah, that's not a lot. Like, so when we talk about institutional adoption, the fact that they bought it is something. I don't want to say it's nothing. And clearly, look at my chart again here. A nice pop-up here, right? So this is actually a good-looking chart on the micro side of this. But the macro does concern me about massive potential long-term. It just doesn't have the same momentum. And then even hearing that headline, it's cool hearing that Trump's team has bought some, but then you look at the number and you're like, that barely does anything, right? So, but what you have here, let's address this. What you have is we just dropped back on February 2nd to levels we hadn't seen since November of 2023. That's always going to be juicy. When you see prices on an asset that you haven't seen in years, that could be an interesting nibble just for the sake of it. And maybe that's some of what Trump's team is doing, is saying, hey, this is a layer one solution that used to get some momentum. It's down drastically. Do we take a chance? Do we roll the dice on this? That's a possibility here. But let's take a look at what's going on here. Because again, we have gotten a very big bid today. In fact, in the last little bit, from the last couple of days, this coin is already up 25%. Okay, so it's started momentum already. What do we have going on in the way of our buy signals? We have the daily buy signal. We do. Green reversal, bullish momentum, positive money flow. We had bullish divergence play out back here. The MACD is positive. The RSI looks like it wants to go back to crossing 50. So a lot of great signs from a trader's perspective. And again, we've done a lot of damage here. What I would say is that when this flashed here a couple days ago, I would have told you getting back up to 29, 30 cents would be a minimum movement here. It's still, you still have a little bit of moves right there to get there. But not a lot. Let's see what that would be. Let's say you traded this. You're only looking at about 10%. That's better than Bitcoin, But what you could say, though, this is where the potential gets in. If we can get a smash through that smart trail, you'll see a lot of times when you bottom out and smash the smart trail, you make a move back up to the red resistance cloud. There's only one chance to look at it on the daily chart for this coin because it's only so old. But if we did that, you can see we are very far pulled back from the resistance cloud from Luxago, which is coming up here at 50 cents. So when you look at that, you're kind of gambling here saying, hey, can we push through the smart trail? Can we get a big bid up here? Can we get an 87% move to the upside? It's there. The possibility is there. But I wouldn't necessarily say that I like this trade and buy as much as I like some of the others. What I want to look at here, though, let's see the weekly chart. Are we getting any positive momentum on the weekly chart? The RSI is starting to curve, but nothing crazy. The MACD is flirting with the concept of flipping bullish again, but you probably need another week or two before you can confirm that. You do start to see the beginnings of a bullish buy signal here where you have a green reversal. It looks like the momentum wants to start moving to the upside. It looks like the money flow wants to move to the upside. And that would be the indicator to send it back up to the weekly smart trail up here at 57 cents. So I would put this one almost on like a similar concept of Solana, saying like it might not quite be time, but if it does work out, you got some big potential here. For a shorter term trade. Again, we're talking about the next couple of weeks, next couple of months. There's other coins out there that look better, but if you like, say, I think you're on the precipice of potentially getting that weekly buy signal and getting a nice 124% move to the upside if that plays out. But like I said, the low end, again, the pessimistic end would be there's a chance we don't make it back above 30 cents and we get rejected right here. And we'll have to kind of see how things play out after that happens. So that is what we're looking at there. Let's do one more here, Shroom, and then we'll call it a day.
It just feels like it felt like you were kind of holding back on that one. Why don't you just say what you need to say?
I'm not buying say. I'm not buying say is what I'm going to say.
All right. Jasmine is definitely getting thrown around. We do have a super chat. In fact, did you address the other super chat about 75,000, 75K
No.
Bitcoin?
Well,
yeah, there was one.
Okay, good. No, go.
Yeah, there
go,
was one. There was one earlier. I don't see it anymore, but it was, checking in about 75K, still in the, still on the table. 75,000 is definitely still on the table for Bitcoin, but it looks like it's rejecting off the support here to the upside.
That's an old one. I'm not finding that one.
Yeah. And then Buck said, Tim, do you ever lock down your 25 link price? Ready for a bet yet? ?
Yeah, we're lock it down. Listen, I still think Link is going to get a massive bid sometime either before or during the summer. I still am looking at on the low end. This is what messes it up. If the bull market does end in 2025 or early 2026, I do think Chainlink can get multiple $100 billion market cap, which would put the price, again, low end, we're looking at $200, high end, probably $400 or $500. I think in a super bullish situation, you go higher than that. I'm less likely for a bet about 2025 as I am this cycle. Like, we will see the price of Chainlink get to $200. I'll go on the low end of my prediction because I think some people think that that's too bullish. I think we're going to see $200 before you see the next like 70, 80% pullback on Chainlink. That would be the bear market here. Again, I think 400 to 500 is much more likely. I don't know if I want to do any bets with people because, again, a lot of things could change how that works. But I'm anticipating a massive move on Chainlink still to come. And it's because of the absolute love that institutions have for it. And they have love for it, and they haven't even fully been able to allocate into crypto yet because of regulatory clarity. So I'm going to stick to my guns, and people can keep calling me crazy. You guys can sell your Chainlink if you want. That's okay. I'll try to buy as much of it as I can because I'm still a big believer in it. But I still have low end 200, realistic 400 to 500, and then potentially 600 to 700 on the table for Chainlink.
Yeah, and then there's another super chat kind of promoting a meme coin. Please do not promote meme coins through super chats. But thanks for
thank you
coming.
for the super chat, but. Yeah, I mean, I'll read it, but we'll then critique it because I think it's going to go opposite direction. He says, "Fart boy on Solana blockchain getting listed on MEXC tomorrow." Guys, if you want to buy meme coins, especially ones with the word fart in it, we're not your mom, we're not your dad, we're not your financial advisors. You do whatever you want to do. I will love you and tell you you're always welcome here, and I'll call you foolish. And I'll tell you that every dime you put into that coin, imagine you're just donating it to the founder, because the reality is that's probably what's going to end up happening. They're probably going to pull it from you. The chances of you actually making good returns on Fart Boy, very slim to none. Fart Boy gets a don't buy from the Tim list today. Let's go ahead. Let's do one more TA coin, and then we will call it. Dion Gang says $150 top for Link. Listen, I think a lot of people will be very happy with $150 top for Link. I just think that's a little too low in my personal opinion. Eric Wallen says, "Never trust a fart, Tim." You're right. That's good lesson to learn in life.
That's the best possible chat.
All right. I saw earlier a bunch of people asking for AERO, and we're going to do AERO. And one of the reasons why I do AERO is because last week's Rate My Portfolio coin, we talked about AERO, but there was an editing glitch. Our editor heard me say AERO and thought we were talking about a coin called AERO. All the numbers we're talking about, all the numbers and details I talked about were about Aerodrome, but the visuals showed AERO, like ARRW. So if you guys watched last week's Rate My Portfolio, be aware it's going to show you the wrong picture, but we are talking about the right coin. Let's look at Aerodrome, and we'll see what's happening here. I like Aerodrome. I don't hold it, but it's one of the ones that I don't hold against people. Like if I was doing a portfolio review, but speaking of, I'm doing a portfolio reviews today. We're going to be doing portfolio review, Rate My Portfolio on Saturday on the channel. But for our Pro Bros members and up, so our Pro Bros, our Super Bros, our VIP traders, Thursdays, instead of doing Q&As now, Thursdays after the live show, either Crux or myself will go in and we'll take quick looks at 3 to 5 portfolios listed, and we'll try to look at members' portfolios and give very quick feedback, not detailed, but quick feedback. So after the show today, make sure to come check it out and come join me for a portfolio review episode of Q&As. But Aerodrome, let's see what's going on here. Big pullback here. Now, this is one that by the skin of its teeth is still in the positive momentum for me. Again, we outdid the March high. It's actually an April high, but we did kind of double top, so slightly outdo that high in December. So I still think Aerodrome can have some momentum. That being said, from those highs, it is currently down 66%. Some people are going to say that's a problem. Others are going to say, man, that's juicy. Do you like Aerodrome? Do you believe in it? I would say anyone who likes Aerodrome says, I could buy 66% down from where it just was a month and some change ago. Dream come true. It's not perfect, but you're kind of on a trajectory here where a long-term support level from a low we had back in July is in play. So this is kind of going to be a similar spot to Solana, where we haven't necessarily developed the positive momentum, but you do see a support level being hit here. If we look at the oscillators, we had that daily buy signal last week. We had bullish divergence. We have a bunch of reversals. The trend of the money flow is going in the right direction. So I would call this a early, not quite official, but an early buy signal on the daily chart for Bitcoin. What's the 12-hour showing me? Sometimes when I'm not sure, I like to look at the 12-hour if it wants to load for me. Yeah, 12-hour is bullish. Bullish divergence, green reversal, positive momentum, positive money flow. All right, so what does that say? 12-hour says we should get back up to $1.02. Daily chart says that we get the official one $1.02. So they're kind of agreeing there. That's the low end. That would be a move right now if you were to buy this second, a move somewhere in the world of 28, 30%. Love it. But if we make that bigger move, we smash through the smart trail, which again, I think there's a good chance we could do. You just go right back up at least into the red resistance level. We're talking about somewhere back in the world of $1.86. But, you start to say, can we stretch it? The only thing I would say there, let's do some, I've done this for other coins, but let's do it here. Let's say we go to new all-time highs. What would be, if we hit new highs on AERO, what would the next level of significance be? Back here, let's take a look here. Back here, well, it's not going to be a great example right there. Yeah, it's not going to be a great example. I'll give you a couple levels here. I would be watching $3.20, and then I'd be watching 486 for a potential reversal. I'm not saying bull market top. I'm talking about trades that could have the next big pullback. Again, short term, $1. Then let's get up here to $1.86, almost $2. But I really think you could see a good trade in the next couple of months, maybe summer sometime. We get a lot of bullish momentum to then. Somewhere in the world of $3 to $4 is on the table here with Fibonacci extension. I like AERO. This is a riskier trade, kind of similar to what Solana is. You're kind of buying the falling knife here. You're not seeing the established bullishness, but what is better than Solana is it has that daily buy signal, the 12-hour buy signal that's going to start the momentum in the right direction. Then it's about, can we continue this momentum to set these higher highs? That's what you're looking at right now. But I think there's a good trend to buy AERO long-term, uptrending support level. I like it for a long-term buy right now if you love that project. With that said, it's 4:01. If you guys have enjoyed the episode, we are coming to a close. Smash that like button. We got over 1,100 people watching here on YouTube. Smash that like, hit subscribe as we are getting closer towards that 50K subscriber mark. We might do something special. We hit 50K. We still want to get over 60K before the end of March, so we really need your help. Smash that subscribe button. I want to bring Smay up to close us out with the factoid of the day. Smay, what do you got for us today?
Well, so much, but first, guys, as per usual, I need to show you something. Here in the link in the description, or in the description under this video, we have our free Discord. And people are saying the link is invalid, but I'm pretty sure it's not. So, I just want to tell you
make sure you sign in with a. I think you could have a problem on your phone, like an Android or something. Get to a laptop, use a computer. I have not heard anyone having a problem with their computer.
Right, and make sure that you are in a place that Discord is available and all that good jazz.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Listen, it's free. It's literally going to cost you nothing, but it's going to give you so much joy and love in your life. So definitely go check that out. But with that being said, let's jump into the factoid of the day, brought to you by Decrypted.tax. Now, this one's a little fun. Because we were talking about it before the stream, so some of you guys might not get this, but it is a Dungeons and Dragons related thing because we were talking before the stream, us investing bros. We're thinking about doing a Dungeons and Dragons thing amongst us. So I decided to test their Dungeons and Dragons knowledge before you all and put them through the gauntlet. And by the way, I just will say, last thing I'll make a note of this. This character you see on the screen is my current D&D character. So with that, let's go ahead and read it, and you guys can give your answers. I put a poll in chat, by the way, so you guys can play along. Which of the following is statistically one of the most popular D&D character builds? A, Elf Ranger. B, Half-Orc Barbarian. C, Tiefling Warlock. Or D, Human Fighter. Man, this is the right audience for this question. I'll tell you what. And I'll also clarify, this is of recent data. Okay, collected. So,
man,
I don't know where to begin with this one.
I think Elf Ranger could be close because Ranger is like a very high echelon term used in the U.S. Army, so it's very mainstream. And
I feel like
logic I can add to this
is the most likely because you have Elf Ranger, which sounds like the coolest good guy, but half orc barbarian, you sound like you're evil. And I think there is a kind of a move to want to be edgy and be on the wrong side.
There's like and there's a redemption arc possibility. If you're half barbarian, you shun the evil and you move forward to the good, to the light.
Yeah.
Let's
go.
Let's go.
Warlock.
Let's go Elf Ranger though. Let's go Elf Ranger.
If you play Dungeons and Dragons, put a 1 in chat. But you're saying Elf Ranger A. What do you got, Shroom? A as well?
I think we double up on A. Let's do it.
Double up on A. And all right, with that. Drum roll. There we go. It is
the Warlock.
Tiefling Warlock. And you might be asking, for the uninitiated, what the heck is a Tiefling Warlock? And that's why I have here a picture. This is a Tiefling Warlock. It's kind of a scary looking dude, I'm not going to lie. And I was surprised by the answer of this. The elf, the elf might be leading us astray here, but that is, as far as the data showed, that is a Tiefling Warlock, and that is D&D. Back to you, Tim.
I'm gonna keep watching football is what I'm gonna do. I don't know if I fully understand this whole world, but it sounds, for everyone who likes playing it, it sounds like you're having a lot of fun. Stay safe. Don't get into anything too crazy that gets demonic or anything that hurts your family. But go out there, have a hobby other than crypto. If D&D is your hobby, get a stress relief. That's all I say. Or go play golf with me. Which, by the way, I'll tell my tragic golf story in our Q&A today to all of our members. But with that said, thank you so much for being here, everybody. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Hopefully you guys had some great insights into how you can be spending and buying up these dips when you can. But with that said, it's going to be all for today. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Next week, I'll be back at my normal home. I'm going to be leaving vacation. Hopefully this time I go back home and we still get a pump. We'll see how it goes, though. With that said, see you guys tomorrow. Adios.